Just a regular shuffle. I will listen to, well, I always do, but I will listen to whatever pops up.
Okay.
You know? We haven't, it's been a long time since we've recorded anything, so.
Yeah, I guess so.
I hope I remember how to listen to music.
You've forgotten how to listen to music?
Maybe. You never know.
Oh, boy. I'm constantly listening to music, so I'm very practiced, I guess.
I've been listening to podcasts.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, I did have one day where I was just like frustrated by things, and I sang the whole way to work, and by the time I got to work, I had lost my voice.
Oh no.
Because when I'm in my car and it's a singing day, it's like full belts.
You just let loose.
I am a Dina Menzel in the car. So.
Okay. Cool. Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to our latest episode of Prog Song Sunday. I've got Jana with me.
Hi.
And this is the show where we listen to a prog song together. It's a first listen for Jana, and we're just exploring the genre, going off of a list that we've compiled and shuffling through it. Just whatever pops up, that's what we listen to, and just trying to have fun doing it. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it, watching and commenting on the tracks that we listen to. So it's a lot of fun. And try to build a community of people listening to this kind of music, you know, and maybe introduce people to music they hadn't heard yet in the genre, and, you know, have a fun time. So, Ready to shuffle?
I'm ready.
All right, let's see what we get today. Okay, I've stumbled onto something I don't know if I'm familiar with. Not sure how it came to be in the list, but maybe we should give it a shot here.
How long is it?
It's a little bit longer. It's 16 plus minutes here, almost 17 minutes.
Are we gambling?
We're gambling.
Something super long that you don't know what it is?
That's a pretty big gamble, huh? Are you good for it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Colosseum is the name of the band. It's called the Valentyne Suite.
And you don't know this? Do you know Colosseum?
I don't really know Colosseum, to be honest. So this is a little bit different to me.
Oh.
So.
Are they old? New?
A little bit on the older side, 69. So this is a little bit...
A little bit on the older side. That's on the older side.
Yeah, it's very much on the older side. Sorry, I should have clarified.
You're just always nice. Like, yeah, they're a little bit older.
They're a little bit older, you know. Yeah, this is almost like what they call proto-prog, I think. Like,
what's proto-prog?
Stuff that, like, inspired prog, that was, like, before progressive rock really was established. Because I feel like
the Beatles.
Progressive rock was established more with, you know, early Yes and Genesis records and things like that. People often point to King Crimson's and the Court of the Crimson King as kind of the start of the genre, which came around the time of this, it seems like.
Okay.
So, right in the early stages of the genre, it seems. But yeah, I don't know much about Colosseum, so not sure how it came to be in our list. It was probably a recommendation somewhere, but might as well give it a shot, right? Do an epic that we've never heard of and have no familiarity with. Let's see what it's like. Ready to be experimental?
Sure.
All right.
That's my jam.
All right, the Valentyne Suite.
I'm going to put notes here just in case.
Okay. Let's get this going.
Okay.
a taller order than I thought. Like a
Turned out to be instrumental.
instrumental piece for 17 minutes. That was probably a lot to take in.
I survived. Don't
You
worry.
survived. You're okay.
I have thoughts.
Okay.
I
That's
had to
always
write
good.
things down.
Good to have thoughts when we're doing a
Right.
show.
Well, I think the whole thing was probably just a really like incredible piece to write and be a part of and like play, and probably to see live. I think it's amazing. Sitting here listening to it for 17 minutes, I felt like I could have done with some editing and maybe cutting out some sections.
Okay.
Because I noticed for me there were times where I'm just sitting there and then my attention, like I lose attention. I
Right.
realize I'm not listening to it, but then once it starts to pick up the beat, each time it picked up the beat and sped up the tempo,
Yeah.
I was like right back in it, and I was just really enjoying it. So like the last
Okay.
like 3 or 4 minutes where it just started
It
quickly
just
like
kept getting
doing
quicker and quicker
yeah,
and quicker.
loved that. That was
It
great.
was exciting, yeah.
I did like that there was like this repeating bass line that was just like bum 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 bum, like over for like minutes, like
Yeah.
several minutes, and all this like crazy other noise was like happening above it. I did think that sometimes it's organ sound.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Sometimes I feel like that's a little overwhelming, and it
Okay.
makes it sound a little muddied to my ear.
Yeah.
But it was like very much like 1960s.
Yeah.
Like you can
felt very old fashioned,
Yeah.
like straight from that era.
yeah, like this should be a soundtrack in a movie, you
Yeah.
know, of like people walking through 1960s New York and having adventures there, or whatever
Right.
1960s movies are. There were moments that felt like a jazz club, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
thought that was really cool too. Let's see. I wrote organs sound like voices. So there was a part where the instruments they were playing sounded like voices, where they were just like, ah, you know,
Yeah.
like over and over. And so I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really neat effect.
I think
where
there
if
were
it-
moments in the song that might have actually been voices. I think there might have been
See,
some,
I'd assume they would be like synthesized voices
Yeah.
and not real.
I don't know. When I
but-
heard it, it sounded like real voices, just, vocalizations, just, oohs and ahs kind of thing in the background.
Interesting.
But that was my take. I could be
Yeah.
way off
Well,
too.
like I heard voices too,
Yeah.
but I just assumed that they were instruments.
Okay.
So, yeah, I heard voices too.
We both hear voices. It's scary.
And the other note that I have is that I thought at the 10-minute mark it like kind of changed the song a little bit, and
Yeah.
it was a slowdown, and it was a nice break, because right before that is where I felt like it was feeling like a little like overwhelming sometimes with the sound, like too much sound.
Okay.
That's just my opinion, like, and
Yeah,
what
it's just
sounds
what
pleasant to
you
my
like.
ear.
Yeah, everyone
were-
has their own preferences.
Yeah, and so there were 1,000 things in it that were great.
Yeah.
that were really cool, and just like the way that they made this cacophony of sound, like it was really neat.
Yeah.
So maybe not one of my like favorite things that I might turn to and go back to at some
Right,
point, but
fair, yeah.
but I can appreciate it for what it is, and it was really neat. So
Cool. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this too. Like I said, it's
Oh yeah, new listen for you
new
too.
listen
huh?
for me. But yeah, it almost veers more towards like jazz rock fusion type lane than prog. I mean, there's definitely prog influences also here. But it was really cool to listen to. Great instrumentation, great playing ability by everyone involved. Of course, some great drumming on the track, and that organ work kind of almost reminded me of like Keith Emerson at times, ELP stuff. So a lot of cool stuff in the makes. It's broken up into a few different parts. I think there's 3 different sections to this according to how it's broken down on the track here. So that's where you get those obvious shifts in the sound, like when it switched at the end to that more sweeter, lighter sound after a big burst of energy, so really cool track. It feels like they had a lot of fun playing this. Feels almost like a jam session at times, but then other times much more composed and has cool themes running throughout that are very noticeable. And it was fun. I'm not huge on instrumental music generally either, to be honest. I like instrumental sections in songs, but I usually like the piece to be grounded with vocals and things. So sometimes it's difficult for me to get through a big piece like this with no vocals, but I found a lot to grab my attention and that it was a really entertaining listen. So I liked it. Kind of an interesting one that slipped past me, I guess. So
have you heard this band before?
Not particularly.
You've heard of them.
I hear all the names of these different bands, but I never explored further because I just assumed it wouldn't be as much in my lane, being more in that jazz rock style,
right? And
more in the early days before prog really got bigger and more important to me in the 70s. So it's just not really the era I'm more fond of, but yeah, worth checking out and listening to anyway. So that's
cool.
My take. All right, good. Any other thoughts?
No, I think I'm good. I think that was a fun little detour from what we normally do. So yeah, I like the ones where you never heard of them either. So yeah, it can always be a gamble, but I think this was a good payoff. It was an interesting song that neither one of us has heard, and
right. All right.
Your thoughts exactly, right?
My thoughts exactly. All right. So thank you everybody for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed this track like we did. Had a fun time with it. And let us know in the comments. I'm sure many of our viewers know more about this than we do. So it'd be great to see some information in the comments about this band, about this album that it comes from, all of that stuff. So thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you'll stick around, subscribe if you haven't yet, and keep joining us for these videos. We do them weekly. It's a lot of fun. So just enjoy the music out there, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.